Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's doing well out there today. I see a few people already in chat. Hello, Brenda. Always awesome AM. Regine Franklin, Space Tacos, Tech Ricky. And we'll see who else joins us today on the Saturday edition of Slay Security Plus. I am your host, the Cosmic Cowboy, aka Jesse J. And here over the next hour sharp, we're going to crush some CompTIA Security Plus practice questions. Drop in chat how your journey is going and how's your weekend going so far. Tech Ricky, to answer your question, I do pour over. Just pour the hot water over the grounds. Attila B, welcome to the party. Got some big up-and-coming news for Slay Security Plus coming up in the next couple of weeks. Super excited to make those announcements once everything is finalized. Attila B says, let's destroy this session. I agree. Let's get right into it. I do have to stop at 3 p.m. Well, my time, 3 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the dot. I'm playing guitar volunteering at my church this weekend, and I got to get there and get myself warmed up and set up and all that as well. Sleepy Queen says, I needed this today. Me too. I need this every Saturday. Sorry for the janky, wobbly camera. That happens from time to time. Hopefully with these announcements coming up, we can improve some of our production quality here. Super excited for that. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to Slay Security Plus. What we are is we're an online community-driven initiative with the sole purpose of helping you pass your CompTIA Security Plus using top-tier industry, impactful, actionable practice questions, practice exams. We talk exam strategy. We try and build some mentorship and community along the way. People usually will be studying kind of on their own, usually through Professor Messer or various other means. And then they'll stop here on Saturdays to test their mettle, see where they're at in the exam, maybe get a little bit of feedback on practice questions and all that good stuff. People just like Joseph B. C. Bell. Yo, you helped me so much pass my Security Plus. You are so good, and I hope you get more credit. I've told everyone about you, and you're literally the best source. Hopefully keep it going. That's awesome, Joseph, man. Can't really see him because I got goosebumps, dude. That's awesome. LFG, baby. Got a first timer in the house. Amadou Ba. Welcome to the party, pal. Let's not waste any time. Let me make sure I covered my bases. Talked about the intro, who I am, why we're here. Got some really exciting sponsorship news to announce here in probably this week or next. So we'll be getting back to a consistent Saturday stream. Again, unless there's an emergency, we will be here for everybody to study with. And work has been good. Knock on wood. I am on call this week. Again, I took 2 weeks of on call. So if I got a drop, it usually only is for a couple minutes. This week, I'm just IT on call. So sometimes it's cyber specific, but in this case, I'm just regular old IT on call. So I'm gonna have to unlock somebody or a VPN and help them out. Usually it takes 5 to 10 minutes. But if that happens, I'll let you guys know. J Mod, hope you're doing well, Jay. Hope you're doing well, J Mod. I was really excited to go to Wild West Hack and Fest in Denver, which is about 3.5 hours away from my house. Where I work in healthcare as a cybersecurity specialist, engineer, all that kind of stuff. And we have a week-long skills week that is mandatory for all of our clinicians and healthcare practitioners. And I am teaching cyber resilience and phishing strategies, or phishing awareness and cybersecurity or cyber resilience. And that is Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. I'll be teaching, almost 1,000 employees in batches. So there is no way out of it. That's one of the reasons they literally hired me at the hospital, was to come alongside and help build their cybersecurity program. And so I can't get out of it, meaning I will unfortunately miss the inaugural Wild West Hack and Fest in Denver, but I am very thankful that I do have a job in an awesome industry, and I hope the same for you, that you land that awesome job. Okay, let's get started. Before we get fired up into some practice questions, I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Jerry Ozier and the whole Simply Cyber community. Slate Security Plus has been sponsored in part by simplycyber.io. So if you're trying to level up your career, you're just trying to get into the industry, or you're in the industry and you really want to take it to that next level, make sure you stop by Simply Cyber. You can check Dr. Jerry Ozier and the crew at least every Monday through Friday, coming to you hot at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with the daily cyber threat brief. Also, various fireside chats, Simply Defensive, Study GRC. The whole Simply Cyber media group is blowing up, and we are becoming kind of the one-stop shop for inclusive cybersecurity, knowledge, empowerment, entertainment. Let's go. Let's pay some bills. Let's get back to the questions.
Are you feeling lost in the vast world of cybersecurity, overwhelmed by technical jargon and confusing career paths? You're not alone. That's why I built Simply Cyber. Hi, I'm Dr. Gerald Ozier. Come join Simply Cyber, your supportive and inclusive community for navigating the exciting world of cyber. There's so much to take advantage of. Master the skills you need with Simply Cyber Academy, offering in-depth courses aligned with the GRC analyst role. Never feel isolated. Connect with fellow cyber enthusiasts and professionals in our thriving Discord server. Ask questions, get feedback, share your journey. Check out the Simply Cyber YouTube channel, delivering insightful interviews. What are your thoughts around, web app pen testing as entry level? And I included bug bounty here because that's very accessible to everybody. Practical skill demos and daily cyber threat briefs, all hosted by industry experts. There's so much more to discover. Are you ready to join the community and empower your future? Visit simplycyber.io/socials for all the links and start your cyber adventure today.
Let's go. Man, I hate to hear that. Tech Ricky says, hope you can make it to Simply CyberCon this year. Yeah, those are the two conferences on my schedule: Wild West Hack and Fest in Deadwood, South Dakota. This will be my third year. I think I'm going to volunteer this year. And then unless there is like a birthday or a family emergency, I have every intention of making it out to South Carolina for Simply CyberCon in person this year, which will be epic. Okay, team, let's get right back into the questions. We're going to be studying today out of the CompTIA Cert Master Learn for Security Plus series. This is significantly better and a step up from the 601 practice questions. I think these are pretty darn good in comparison to the real deal. These and the Professor Messer practice questions I have found to be the absolute closest to the real thing. There's some other providers out there that I just don't think they're getting the syntax and the difficulty and the way the question is worded as close. They may test you on some of the Security Plus knowledge, and it's good to learn from different resources. But one of the strategies when you practice for this exam is really getting used to what the question looks like, understanding what the question is asking you at the end of the day, not necessarily trying to be tricked up or have something be more difficult than it actually is. So we got short time. Let's get right into some questions. We're going to take off where we left off last week, which is lesson 6, cloud, secure cloud and network architecture. Let's resume. Let's go. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger real quick. Here we go. All right, here we go. A software engineer reviews the use of SCADA applications associated with various industries. What sector of industry refers specifically to mining and refining raw materials involving hazardous high heat and pressure furnaces? A, energy, B, fabrication, C, facilities, or D, industrial? What you know about SCADA? JMod, you in chat, you've got some SCADA experience, don't you? Drop your best answer in chat. To review that question, a software engineer reviews the use of SCADA applications associated with various industries. What sector of industry refers specifically to mining and refining raw materials involving hazardous high heat and pressure furnaces? A, energy, B, fabrication, C, facilities, or D, industrial? Got a few people in class saying D. One of the things you want to do when you look at these questions is immediately after you've read it a couple times all the way through and you've identified what the question is asking you, look in the answers and try and find a couple that you're pretty sure are not the correct answer. Well, I'm going to take off B because when I think of fabrication, I think that the raw materials have already been refined and we are now just building something. We're making something, we're fabricating, I don't know, widget parts. Everyone in class is saying D, industrial. Tech Ricky says A, energy. I could see energy, the mining of refining raw materials involving hazardous high heat and pressure furnaces, possibly coal. And I don't think it's facilities either. So I'm torn between A and D. I see a few more people in chat. Welcome to Slate Security Plus. We're just getting started with today's practice questions. We're going to be here for about an hour on the dot, going through Security Plus questions and answers. I know Space Tacos is here too. I believe they are making some soup and getting some dishes taken care of. Hello, everyone. Adidiong Uko. I probably slaughtered that, but I always, no matter how hard somebody's name looks, if it's not familiar to me, I always give it a try, give them the respect of at least trying to say it. And if I slaughter it, I apologize. Correct me. Adidiong. So far, everyone has said D, so we're going to go with D. Now, Tech Ricky, to go to your point on A, I lean towards A as well because I think of energy as you're refining these raw materials, potentially with high heat, and then in this furnace, we're using that to turn that into energy, right? I just think of coal. I think of Excel as who does our energy here in Western Colorado. Let's send it. Oh, good job, class, teaching the teacher. The correct answer is industrial. The industrial sector can refer specifically to mining and refining raw materials involving hazardous high heat and pressure furnaces, centrifuges, and pumps. The energy industry refers to power generation and distribution. More widely, utilities include water, sewage, and transportation networks. Okay. The fabrication and manufacturing industry refers to creating components and assembling them into products. Embedded systems are used to control automated production systems such as forges, mills, and assembly lines. And then the facilities industry refers to site and building management systems, typically operating automated heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, HVAC, lighting, and security systems. This is a select two best options, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, and that's really important too when you see that. I think A would get partial credit as well. And you saw Ricky, Tech Ricky in chat says partial credit, and we'll talk about that here after we read this question while we think about it. In exploring the tenets of zero trust architecture, a cyber consultant reviews its various benefits and components to determine how the solution can help the company. What components are associated with zero trust architecture? Select the two best options. A, better access controls. B, cloud security. C, improved governance and compliance. Or D, data protection. So as you're preparing for your Security Plus, I want to give you a little bit of encouragement in that it is understood that CompTIA gives partial credit on questions. And so what does that look like? Well, if you select the two best options, or as we go through these questions, you're going to see the question is going to say, what best would fit this, or what is most likely. Those are usually indicators that there is a question that might be close, but not the best. And then there's the better of the two options. And let's say you were having an off day and you selected the better, but not the best of the two options. You get partial credit from CompTIA, which is awesome. They don't take points away. You only get points for the ones you answer. That's why it's imperative to answer every single question to the best of your ability, especially using that process elimination, because you never know when you're going to get partial credit on something. Space Tacos, longtime friend, going on almost 3 years now. Greetings and Saturday salutations, y'all. Yee-yee. All right, to the question. Everyone's saying A and D, better access controls, and D, data protection. Learning this right now on a different platform. Brenda says, I think it's A and D. I notice that everybody is saying across the board. Well, zero trust architecture, we don't trust anything, right? And we confirm instead of just having everybody have the keys to the castle, like let's say with a VPN. Zero trust architecture really speaks to this. We don't trust anybody until you prove that you are the real deal. Always Awesome AM says F. That works. And so zero trust architecture is a lot of times a part of cloud security, but we can implement zero trust architecture on an on-premises basis as well. Hey, boo. It's like when a pretty girl walks by, I was like, I think I just saw IT career questions in the house. What is up, Zach Hill? Good friend of mine and a inspiration to me, that's for sure. Hope you're doing well, man. I got my hacker shirt on. And again, zero trust architecture, I think the improved governance and compliance, if that is part of the plan that you're on, that's part of your risk assessment, is you want to have that zero trust architecture, and so you build that in, then it's going to be a component of that. But at the end of the day, what components are associated, right? That's what it's asking us, and it gives us the two best options. So that leaves us with better access controls, I agree, and data protection. Let's send it. Ooh. C and D. Sleepy Queen and Always Awesome AM are saying C and D. Let's improve governance and compliance. Ugh. What do you think, team? I see a lot of A and D, and I see a mix of A and C and D as well. Better access controls, that improve governance and compliance. Zero trust architecture. We verify, right? Don't trust, verify. We know it's not better cloud security. This is a tough one, and it's rated as such. It says here, it says the difficulty level of expert. Come on. Okay, so I'm taking the test and I'm stumped. It's been about a minute now, and let's say we're live. We're in the war. We're in the trenches. We're in the heat of battle, as they say, and we're stumped. We know it's either A and D or C and D. Well, remember, we're going for the two best options. We're going to try and get some of that partial credit if we get this one wrong. Let's send it. We were wrong. It is actually B and D. So we got partial credit. Let's learn something. Cloud security is a component of zero trust architecture that manages access to cloud-based application services and data. I'll do a little bit of research on that, but it looks like CompTIA wants you to really apply that to being in the cloud only. And that's what we're learning out of, right? Is cloud architecture, which should have been a dead giveaway. That's okay. Data protection is a component of zero trust architecture that controls and secures access to sensitive data, including encryption and auditing. Better access controls are a benefit of using ZTA, but are not considered a component. They include more stringent limits regarding who or what can access resources and from what locations. And then improved governance and compliance are benefits and not components of ZTA. They limit data access and provide greater operational visibility on user and device activity. Well, we got D right, so we're going to get partial credit on this one, and we learned something. The CISO, or Chief Information Security Officer for a regional textile company, tasks a cyber team with reviewing the security implications on available cloud architecture models as the business anticipates transitioning to a cloud environment within the next year. What model offers the highest level of security and allows the individual customer to have complete control over the infrastructure? A, multi-tenant architecture, B, hybrid architecture, C, single tenant architecture, or D, serverless architecture? JT coming in hot. Just wanted to pop in and say thanks for the content. I passed my Sec Plus 2 weeks ago. I rewatched you doing the PBQs and explaining these questions and answers. Appreciate it. Do more PBQs. I had crazy ones. Let's go. LFG, baby. That's how we do it. This is how we do it. I play guitar. This is why they don't let me sing. That's epic. Absolutely makes my day. More PBQs. Yeah, we're going to be taking this to the next level coming up, moving into 2025. So we'll be doing a lot more PBQs, probably some hands-on labs. We've been saying that now for about a year and a half, and we'll get into it, and then we go back to the regular questions. But got some exciting announcements I've been kind of hinting towards. So we finna take this to the next level. The CISO for a regional textile company tasks a cyber team with reviewing the security implications on available cloud architecture models as the business anticipates transitioning to a cloud environment within the next year. Excuse me. What model offers the highest level of security and allows the individual customer to have complete control over the infrastructure? A, multi-tenant architecture, B, a hybrid architecture, C, a single tenant architecture, or D, a serverless architecture? JT says, thanks everyone. Keep rewatching and you got this. I had somebody reach out to me who's studying for their Sec Plus, and I said, I know we get a little bit crazy with the jaw jacking. And I said, well, maybe we're going to change it and just be more straightforward, go right into the questions. Or maybe I'll go back and edit the videos. And they said, I don't think you should change it too much because it takes away from the personality of the live stream. They said, when you guys were going off track or jaw jacking too much, I just fast forwarded. I mean, you have the fast forward option on YouTube and got back to the questions. So that's why we do it live, though. I like doing this live because I get to see all of your faces, your messages, your handles, whatever. Creates that community atmosphere. Everyone's saying C. Single tenant architecture, true. Less chance of data spillage. I know what you're saying there. Okay, no work on call. That's good. Sometimes I'll just be going to sleep. My phone, I have it in sleep mode, but on call is the one that comes through. It's brutal. Sometimes the jaw jacking provides context, that we might not think of while studying at home alone? That's a good point. B, I see a bunch of C and a B, a hybrid architecture. I think I agree with Brenda. When I think of a multi-tenant architecture, I do think of the potential for an issue with, I guess, data spillage is the best terminology I can think of, at least right now. Hey, FedEx. Welcome to the party, pal. Let's go, Slayers. FedEx is a longtime Simply Cyber community member. You can catch FedEx every morning along with Jerry and a lot of people here in chat, actually, which is awesome. Okay, it's been about a minute. I'm going to go with C as well. And the reason not B, Frederick, is I don't feel like B highlights what they're going for in the highest level of security part. And like Tech Ricky said, a single tenant could be hybrid, so C is more precise. All right, let's send it. Boom. Let's go. In this scenario, a single tenant architecture provides a dedicated infrastructure to a single customer, ensuring that only the customer can access the infrastructure. This model offers the highest level of security as the customer has complete control over the infrastructure. So if you're making notes, you're studying for this, get that locked down in your head. Single tenant, most secure with the greatest amount of control over the infrastructure. Right? Get it in your head. Whatever mnemonic you got to use to store that in your brain. Think single tenant. I'm the only customer. So if you're taking the real exam and you see single tenant and multiple tenant or multi-tenant architecture, you can think, well, if there's multi-tenants, yeah, it's cost effective because we're allowing multiple customers to share the same infrastructure, but with each customer's data and applications being separated logically between the customers, that there always is that chance that we could have what Brenda refers to as data spillage, which I like. A hybrid architecture provides greater flexibility and control over sensitive data and applications, allowing customers to store data on private cloud infrastructure while using public cloud infrastructure for less sensitive workloads. And then a serverless architecture involves a cloud provider managing the infrastructure and automatically scaling resources up or down based on demand. So that cloud provider is going to have more control. Cyber local single with customer having complete over means LAAS or IS, infrastructure as a service. All right, here we go. This one is rated as difficult. Let's see what we can do. A research team of an aerospace organization wants to purchase an operating system that is commonly used in the aerospace industry and can assist in prioritizing deterministic execution of operations to ensure consistent responses are received for time-critical tasks. What type of OS should the research team purchase? SCADA, ICS, ZTS, or ZTA, or RTOS? Bear with me. That's my mom. Gotta respond to mom. What do each of these mean, right? What is SCADA, right? When I think of SCADA, I believe it's supervisory. It's a supervisory controls and data access. Access or acquisition? It's either acquisition or access. Supervisory controls and data acquisition. ICS is our industrial control systems. ZTA refers to a zero trust architecture. And a real-time operating system, meaning things are happening in real time. And the more you study, you're going to get used to these terms applying to only one thing. There is something in the question that's going to cue you off to the answer, right? Well, we know zero trust architecture is a whole architecture based around access controls. This is not talking about access controls as much as it is talking about operations, execution of operations to ensure responses are received for time critical tasks. So things happening, and I'm going to give it away, but things happening in real time, right? So SCADA, we can think of those as our big industrial systems along with ICS. Zero trust architecture is a whole architecture, regarding access controls and access to cloud solutions. Well, real-time operating system are operating systems in your vehicles, military, different various military crafts and weapons, airplanes, and it's an operating system that is relaying that traffic in real time. Select D. And let's send it. Here we go. Boom. For this scenario, the purchase of real-time operating system, RTOS, would be the most appropriate as it can assist in prioritizing deterministic execution of operations to ensure consistent response are received for time-critical tasks. So in the question, the giveaway for me was time-critical. And knowing that a real-time operating system is the one that has to do with that information being prioritized in real time tells me that that is the most appropriate answer. A supervisory control and data acquisition system is a control system that manages large-scale, multiple site devices and equipment spread over geographically large areas from a host computer. An ICS, or industrial control system, provides the mechanisms for workflow and process automation and is used in critical infrastructure. And then remember, again, ZTA, or zero trust architecture, is not an operating system, but more a security design paradigm or thought process. When you hear that word paradigm, means, a thought process, a way of doing things, where any request must be authenticated before being allowed. We're doing great today, team. Let's keep it up. Ooh, here we go, another one. A network engineer reviews the security implications tied to cloud architecture models as the company plans to move data off premises at the end of the year. Very similar to our previous question around this with these same answers. What model provides flexibility by allowing the company to store sensitive data to a private cloud infrastructure and non-sensitive information on a public cloud infrastructure? A, multi-tenant architecture, B, serverless architecture, D, a single tenant architecture, C, a single tenant architecture, or D, a hybrid architecture. Well, we remember that we can immediately take off remember that a single tenant architecture means that cloud provider is only providing that data to us. So it wouldn't be public, that would just be a single tenant private. Then multi-tenant means that we're sharing the same resources, but the data is separated logically. So we know it's not those two. What model provides flexibility by allowing the company to store sensitive data in a private cloud infrastructure and non-sensitive information on a public cloud infrastructure? And remember that serverless architecture is this model where the cloud provider has the ability to scale resources as they see fit. I'm going to go with D as well. Let's send it. Correctamundo. In this scenario, a hybrid architecture provides greater flexibility and control over sensitive data and applications, allowing customers to store data on private cloud infrastructure while using public cloud infrastructure for less sensitive workloads. A multi-tenant architecture is a cost-effective model by allowing multiple customers to share the same infrastructure, with each customer's data and applications being separated logically, right? So with software, between the customers. A serverless architecture involves a cloud provider managing the infrastructure and automatically scaling the resources up or down based on demand. And remember, a single tenant architecture provides dedicated infrastructure to a single customer, ensuring that only the customer can access. Typo. I should write CompTIA. Ensuring that only the customer can access the customer. This model offers the highest level of security as the customer has complete control over the infrastructure. Thought there was a review submit error thing. Report content errors. Issue type. Found a typo. Lesson 6. Let's just copy and paste that. Bear with us. We want to make things better, right? So let's just do it in real time. I wonder if I can do italic. Yep. And bold. Let's do the same thing here. Okay. Submit. Thank you. Perfect. All right. We're making CompT a little bit better as we move along, right? That's what we do. Make things better than when we found them. Following a recent insider threat breach, a network engineer reviews the company's ZTA, or Zero Trust Architecture policy, to ensure all aspects are accurate and aspects of the control and data planes are implemented correctly. What statements are true regarding the control plane of Zero Trust Architecture? It establishes sessions for secure information transfers. So this is a select two best options. B, in this plane, a subject uses a system to make requests for a given resource. C, it manages policies that dictate how users and devices are authorized to access network resources. And D, it is implemented through centralized policy decision point. In networking, the control plane manages how data is routed and forwarded across a network by making decisions based on routing protocols, while the data plane is responsible for the actual transmission of data packets according to the instructions set by the control plane. Okay. Let's take that, what we just learned right there, and take that into our, no, there we go. The control plane. If you want me to, we can go back to that. The control plane manages how data is routed and forwarded across the network by making decisions based on routing protocols. I like D. This is an expert one, they said. What do we think, class? Let me make it a little bit smaller for, whoops, not that one. Following a recent insider threat breach, a network engineer reviews the company's ZTA policy to ensure all aspects are accurate and aspects of the control and data planes are implemented correctly. What statements are true regarding the control plane? It's not asking us about the data plane, it's asking us about the control plane of zero trust architecture. It establishes sessions for secure information transfers. B, in this plane, a subject uses a system to make a request for a given resource. C, it manages policies that dictate how users and devices are authorized to access network resources. And D, it is implemented through a central policy decision point. I like C and D as well. Space Taco says, I may not like C anymore. What did C do to you? Let's go back to that definition that we looked up. Manages. I like C. They both say manage, and they're both based on the protocols, the policy, the control plane. Think of the data plane as where the actual bits are flowing. So A, Attila B says A question mark. Could it be? Well, it establishes sessions for secure information transfers. That would be the data plane. Remember, the data plane is responsible for where the ones and zeros are actually going to be in transit. I hope that helps kind of clear up the two. Control plane manages how data is routed and forwarded across the network by making decisions based on routing protocols. While the data plane is responsible for the actual transmission of data packets and according to the instructions set by the control plane. Essentially, the control plane is the brain that decides where the data goes, and the data plane is the muscle that actually moves the data. So in your notes, think control plane is the brain. The data plane is the muscle, and it does the moving and the shuffle. I'm going to go with C and D. And if we're wrong, well, we got to learn something, right? Boom. Let's go. Remember, just like we were saying, the data plane is responsible for the packets that are going across. In the data plane, not the control plane, a subject, user, or service uses a system such as a client, host, PC, laptop, or smartphone to make requests for a given resource. Some more of these select two best options. The IT Department of Organization is preparing to implement new access control measures to enhance the security of its network. The IT team has studied various access control models and is assessing the potential applicability to their needs. Which access control models should the IT team consider if they want to implement access controls based on the user's roles and security classifications of information? Select the two best options. A, DAC or discretionary access control. B, MAC or mandatory access control. C, role-based access control or RBAC, or rule-based access control. Select 2. Ion Q, welcome to the party, pal. In Zero Trust Control Plane, maintain and configure assets, access control, and communication security. That helps. Oh, I see what you're saying. In a Zero Trust Control Plane, is that what you meant? Control plane, maintain and configure the assets. So that's the brain, access controls, and communication security. I think that's what you're getting at. Please correct me if I'm wrong. C and D. Well, let's talk about this a little bit. Roles, so it tells us roles right here. So we know right out the gate we have role-based access control. We know it's not discretionary access control. I like ESPN channel. I'm leaning towards mandatory access control. Mandatory access control utilizes security classifications of objects, and then depending on what that what level of control, so without getting my words jumbled up too much, I'm just going to use this guitar pick here. I set this guitar pick's access control as top secret. I want to access this guitar pick. It's top secret. My access control level has been set at secret. So I can access any information up to secret, but no information that has the access control of top secret, right? The access control is set on security classifications of the information. This guitar pick is top secret, but when I was entered into the system, I was only given the ability to access information up to secret and not top secret. I hope that helps. Exactly. Agent Coulson, I love that, by the way. Mandatory access controls are used by the government for classified levels of info. Often used, I should say, not exclusively. Agreed. I'm going to go with B and C and test myself here. I could be completely wrong. I believe it is B and C, mandatory access controls, and role-based. User roles gives that answer away from me. And then the security classifications of information is typically what we see. The object itself has a security classification on it, and then the users, depending on what their access control level is, can either access that information or object or not. And we are correct. Let's go. In the mandatory access control model, the system grants access rights by examining the security classifications assigned to information and the clearance, that's the word I was looking for, the clearance level associated with the user. This model focuses on information confidentiality and classification, providing robust control over information flow. My clearance level is secret. The guitar pick's classification is top secret. That means that my clearance lets me access all data up to top secret. Any data or object that has that top secret classification assigned to it, I cannot access. The role-based access control model assigns access rights based on user roles within the system. These roles reflect the user's responsibilities and authority in the system. In the discretionary access control or DAC model, the data owner holds the authority to determine who can access specific resources, right? So if we think about the difference between mandatory and discretionary, well, in discretionary, the data owner holds that authority, whereas in mandatory, it's the classification of an object that determines what clearance level is allowed to see it. Contrary to role-based access control, rule-based access control refers to access controls allowed or denied based on a set of rules defined by a system or application administrator. Good job, team. Upon learning that the organization is looking to enhance network security solutions for the corporate office, a software technician explores the benefits of deploying ZTA. Remember, we're learning these acronyms as we go along. Deploying ZTA or Zero Trust Architecture. What is not a key benefit of using ZTA? So not A, greater security, B, better access controls, C, decreased granularity, or D, improved governance and compliance. Well, we know that we get greater security with ZTA, and this is asking us what is not. So I'm going to take that one off. Well, better access controls, those are a benefit. And didn't we just see in that previous question? And this is the beauty of taking the multiple choice first before you attack those really hard PBQs, or sometimes flagging a question. Do I have the ability to flag? Not here in the practice, but when we go to an actual practice test. When you're taking the real test, you'll get the ability to flag a question. And so a strategy that I like to encourage others to use, and you choose your own, whatever works best for you. But as you're going through, if you see a question that's just jamming you up for way longer than a minute, flag it, pick the best answer that you can think of. Do not leave it blank. Pick the best answer that you think it is, flag it, because at the very end of the test, you're going to get a chance to come back to all those questions that you flagged. And in a lot of cases, you may flag a question, and then 3 or 4 or 5, 6 questions down the road, either within that question or one of the answers will cue something in your brain. You go, oh, that's right. That's the answer I was looking for that question I flagged. So it's a really great technique to help kind of make sure you're answering the questions with the best answer possible, flagging them, and then come back to them. Yeah, we're all on the same page. We know that we just read that improved governance and compliance is not a component of ZTA, but it is a benefit. So we know that all 3 of these are, by process of elimination, decreased granularity is not a key benefit. Oops. I perfectly came across this stream while doing the same exam prep. How fitting. I am taking a break to join you all. Let's go, Ion Q. Welcome to the party, pal. We got about 7 minutes left, and then I gotta jump into Music Man mode, hang out with the kids for a minute before I go play some guitar. Correct, right? So we kind of nailed that one pretty good. A network architect at a global finance institution overhauls the company's on-premises network to enhance security and reduce the attack surface. To accomplish this, the architect assesses various architectural models and their respective impact on the on-premises network security implications. While redesigning the on-premises network, which architecture derivative model could effectively decrease attack surface? Centralized architecture, B, peer-to-peer network, C, content delivery networks, or D, hybrid cloud. Okay, I'm gonna need to reread this one to myself. Let me see if I can make it a little larger for all of you crazy slayers out there. while redesigning the on-premises network. They're not saying they're moving. Which derivative cloud model could greatly decrease attack surface? That's right, guitar time. Everyone in class is going with A. Agent Coulson says A. Tech Ricky says A. Sleepy Queen says A. Frederick says A. Frederick Nwokobia? Nwokobia? I know B, we can rule out since peer-to-peer gives everyone access to the same resources. Okay, rule out peer-to-peer. We're trying to reduce the attack surface. Right, and this is one of the things that Microsoft it big in pushing entities to full cloud or at least go hybrid. And tell me, when you say go hybrid, do you mean hybrid as in on-premises and cloud, or are you saying private cloud and public cloud? Because I feel like the term hybrid architecture can be used to describe both. Yeah, I was going to say C and D are cloud. And so we're trying to see a derivative model, right? We have what they're trying to say. What this question is asking us is what cloud model can we look at and get a derivative or model that to our on-premises network? I'm going to go with centralized A. Everyone seems to be rolling with A, and I want to get one more question in before we rock. So let's see. Closing my eyes. Did we get it? Yes. Let's go. Centralized computing architecture refers to a model where all data processing and storage is performed in a single location, typically a central server. This can help minimize threat vectors. That's fair. Also, a single point of failure, but yeah. Sleepy Queen says, my husband just saw that we are online. He said hi. Hi, Sleepy Queen's husband. Welcome to the party, pal. Your wife made a good decision to join us. All right, 2 minutes left. Let's go. This is an expert question. Maybe we'll hang on it for another minute. To improve security, the security team at a growing tech company aims to update its infrastructure. They explore different architectural models and ponder the implications of logical segmentation. To curb lateral movement within the network, which lateral movement basically means that if you're breached or pop, that you can move across the network from one system to the next, right? The team plans to split the network into smaller isolated segments, each boasting its own resources and security controls. Considering this strategy to boost security, which architecture model would optimally support the logical segmentation strategy? A, client-server model. B, peer-to-peer model. C, a hybrid model. Or D, a monolithic model. Oof. I don't know what D is either. Let's look it up. A monolithic architecture in the cloud refers to a software application design where all functionalities are contained within a single large code base, meaning the entire application is built as one unit, with all components tightly coupled and managed as a single entity rather than being broken down into smaller independent service, like in a microservice architecture. Essentially, it's a traditional approach where all aspects of the application are housed in one place, making changes often requiring updates of the whole system. Ugh. Sleepy Queen, he said thank you. It made his day. LFG, he's been sick with COVID for a week. Well, Mr. Sleepy Queen, we are wishing you that you feel better, and I'm praying right now that you will feel better. I've had COVID 3 times. First time I had the OG in 2020, knocked me out for a good 3 weeks. Then I had it again, was pretty bad, but not as bad. And then I had it a third time, and I still worked. It wasn't that bad. You know, following all the stuff, whatever, masks and distance and whatnot. I don't think a monolithic model, because that doesn't sound like there's any segmentation, or it really doesn't apply to what we're looking for. And then a hybrid model, we're going to be using public and private cloud models, right? So if we do get that lateral access, what happens if they're able to move across? I don't like that either. And then a peer-to-peer, everybody has access to the same resources. So I'm going to go with everybody. Or as recommended, not required, but recommended. Preach. I want to vote for A or C. I'm going to go with A. Let's get this patty started. That's how we go. Sorry, I get excited. My boss is always like, you get really excited about cybersecurity. Yes, I do. So we were correct. Everybody in class, we nailed this one. The client-server model best supports logical segmentation. In this model, clients request services and servers provide those services. This model is more suitable for segmentation, as each segment can have its own server that manages its resources and security controls. Nailed it. A peer-to-peer, right? Remember, it lacks centralized control structure, making it harder to manage resources. Hybrid model could support segmentation, but not provide a clear division as client-server model due to its mixture of peer-to-peer and client-server structures, which is what we said, but that's the more technical definition. The monolithic model consists of a single undivided system, which goes against the principles of segmentation. All right, ladies and germs, we're going to hit done practicing. Right now, we're at 90%. We've got a few questions left. So we will continue. Next week, we'll jump back into lesson 6. We'll warm up with some practice questions. And then we'll probably go into some PBQs, because we haven't done those in a while. I know they're a little bit lengthy, but it's a really good way to get those that are preparing for the exam, or even if you've already passed your exam and you're just here to continue to refine your skills and stay up to date in those fundamentals and the foundations of cybersecurity. The PBQs are a great way to do it. And we'll do those next week along with our classic question and answer. I hope all of you have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday. Go Bills, beat the Chiefs. Let's go, Josh Allen. How do you not like Josh Allen? Attila B saying, thanks a lot. Enjoy your time and see you next Saturday. That is correct. I will be here 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, we're going to keep rolling. It's only going to get better from here. And I think next week I'll have some exciting news to share with everybody that shows up. Hey, Jesse, are you going to Wild West Hacking Fest Mile High? No. Nope. I really wanted to. In fact, I signed up to volunteer, do the AV, audio video, and then be a floater on the next day. And either I didn't look at my calendar correctly or my work changed things. We have a week-long skills that we've got to teach to all. It's called Skills Week. So it's all of the things that medical practitioners, our clinicians, as well as the administrative staff go through. It's everything from understanding how to mitigate suicidal patients. And then I'm the third block, right in between infectious disease control. I'm the cybersecurity block. And so every day between 7 and 2:30, depending on when my time slot is, I will be teaching cybersecurity resilience in healthcare, along with a phishing game with some examples. And that's mandatory. Part of the reason I got hired by the company was to perform these services. And so it's not something I can pass off to the person below me, and the person above me has other things to worry about. So I unfortunately will not make it to Wild West Hack and Fest Mile High. Breaks my heart because it's 3 hours away. I was just going to drive up there, but I will be at South Dakota Wild West Hack and Fest Deadwood, and then hopefully be at the second Wild West Hack and Fest Mile High. And then we will also be able to hang out at Jerry's Simply CyberCon, which I'm super excited for. Agent Colson, it has been a minute. Welcome back to the party, pal. All right, team. Thanks for the best wishes. I'm bummed I can't be there either. I got to go. I got to get ready to play guitar, hang out with the kids for a little bit, and then call it a Saturday. All of you have a wonderful Saturday. And until we study again, stay secure.